Feel the fear, but do it anyways. In summer of 2020, I tried cliff diving for the first time, and when I did it, I spent literally 30 minutes standing on top of the cliff, looking down into the green water. And my muscle in my entire body, I know I want to jump. I know like normally I'm a brave person. Normally, I just want to take the leap of faith. I know that's good for me, right? But the real issue is, like, my body just says no. Whenever I try to like pull out the strength to jump into the water, I cannot. It was a 40-meter cliff diving directly into the water, and apparently there's some dangerous looking rocks beneath the water, but like pretty much there's no chance you're gonna hit it, because I think around 10 people before me has already jumped in and then they're all safe. So it just come down to me, and then this is generally a safe spot to do cliff diving. So it just come down to me, and then I just feel like I want to do it. I really want to do it, but I cannot. I physically cannot. Like, my body's constantly rejecting me by pulling off my strings. I'm trying to like move a little bit inch by inch forward, but like my body's tensing up, so I cannot physically jump down into the water. So I literally thought it's impossible. But then my friend like just told me like, you gotta try this, you have to do it. Just think about maybe trying like a smaller cliff before you do this one. So I tried a smaller cliff, it's around like 10 meter high, and then tried a smaller cliff, and then I dipped in and I was safe. So afterwards I started climbing back up to try the 40-meter cliff. And eventually, after like, I don't know how long this is, but like after like an hour, which everyone else has been jumping down like a couple times already, I finally did it. And in that moment, there's no fear. When I'm falling down into the water itself, I feel actually calm and focused. And when I'm immersed in the water, I didn't think much. I know I was gonna be safe. That was the first time that I kind of overcome this kind of thing. Now we're gonna get deeper, okay? So, why is this a big deal for me, being able to overcome such a big hurdle? When I was in elementary school, we organized a trip to go ski in our city. So I live in Ningbo, which is normally a pretty warm city, so they have like one snowy mountain. So we just always go there to ski. The issue is that skiing itself doesn't bother me because like everyone can do it. Skiing is kind of like natural for me. Learning how to ski, learning how to do this kind of winter sports. The issue is when we were a bunch of kids, right? Like primary school kids. We're trying to climb up a snow hill that's not supposed to be climbed on, and everyone's trying to do it. In the beginning, no one succeeded on climbing on top of the hill. It looks gigantic, but probably it's just like a 220-meter high hill. So after a while, one kid did it, right? It started with this like tall kid. He did it, and then everyone else slowly climbed up the hill. And I remember there's like 20 kids, like boys, even some girls did it. And they're just having fun, like laughing, throwing snowballs on the hill. And I just couldn't do it. Like, I tried as hard as I can to climb up that hill, but I just couldn't do it. For like more than an hour, I tried. I climbed halfway through and then fall down, kind of halfway through and fall down repetitively. But I didn't give up, because as a young kid, like, I don't know what it means to give up. I have so much hope and so much confidence within myself naturally. Like, this is everything. This is because I was so young. Like, everything's super like pretty natural for me, and I couldn't do it. Repeatedly, I fall down the hill. It's not the physical pain that bothered me. It's that mental barrier. Then that there's something that everyone else can do that I just couldn't do myself. This bothered me. Like, this haunts me in a way. So when I was landing on that cliff in 2020, I feel all of that coming back again on top of that cliff. That this is something that everyone else can do. Like literally every single person that came with me on that trip did it way before me, and then they did like a couple runs, and I couldn't do it. And I wanted to give up. Like the easiest way one can do anything is to give up. Like you start something and then it's hard for me. I cannot do it. I physically cannot do it. This is not my cup of tea. It's not my field. It's not something that I'm passionate about, right? People can always find ways to back off. It's so easy to back off. For example, if you like reading this, for example, this book I have right here, maybe like you think it's kind of boring. It gets kind of boring somewhere. Like I don't want to finish it. I know after I read it, I'll learn something like fundamental to me. Or I was just learning Japanese a couple days ago. So I use this textbook, and you can tell yourself, of course, like Japanese is hard. It is hard. It's challenging. Like you could like tell yourself, I'm gonna find an easier language to learn. I want to learn maybe Korean. Korean might be easier than Japanese. But these are excuses, because if you have fear, you have fear in anything. That's what I learned on that cliff. And the moment I did make the jump off the cliff, something changed inside me. I'm not even kidding at the moment. It sounds weird to you, but this is like the single most important lesson that I ever learned in my entire life. This is the single tipping point of my life. Cliff diving, like it's crazy, like so much education. Like I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and now university. There's so many education that have fit in my mind. They feed all this information in my mind. I learned so much. I know so much. Like I know so much more than the average person. But the issue is, for me, like those are less significant than actually jumping off a cliff. That's crazy. Like that's crazy to me. Because that moment when I was like flying through the air, like although it's an instant, like it's probably just 2 seconds, 1 second, even less than that, but it feels longer than that. Like it feels like there's a sudden peace that surrounds me, and I knew at the moment that if I want to do something, I can definitely do it. It just take courage to overcome that fear. I feel the fear for sure. When I'm standing on top of that cliff, I feel so much fear. I feel my body just fighting against me. Like it's alien to me. Like my body was alien to me at the moment. My brain was thinking one thing, I want to jump, it's so easy. Like logically, yes, anyone can jump. Logically, it's just such an easy movement. Logically, no one will hit the rocks beneath the cliff. But my body's it's another thing. Like it's alienated from my brain. It's saying no. It's like toughening up. Like I cannot move an inch of my leg muscle to just do this motion and diving into the water. That's how crazy it is. And this kind of like bodily alienation I've never felt ever before in my life. And I overcame it. Right? In primary school, on the snowy mountain, on that hill, I didn't do it. And you know what? Why I didn't do it? Because on that day, I wore a very like casual shoe. It doesn't have grip on it. Everyone else's shoes has grips on it. That's why like they wear like sneakers and stuff, so they can actually climb on. I wore a really flat shoes that like my mom just bought for me. I think it's super cute, like super good looking shoes. That's why I'm showing off to my classmates. That's why I wore it that day. But it's not the best on climbing anything. On the mountain, because it doesn't have grips. It doesn't have friction on the bottom of it. It's such a simple thing, but it bothers me my entire life, up until 2020. Like throughout my entire life, I knew something's missing about me, because I want to fit in. I want to be a normal person. which I am. But the issue is, I didn't do that one thing, I didn't do the one thing that everyone else can do, like climbing out top of a mountain. Also, I know I could, my mind can do it, my body didn't. Like, I physically did not climb down that hill. And that day, I feel so much defeat. Afterwards, like on our way back on the school bus, like I feel so much defeat. It's just like I'm no longer the person I once viewed myself to be. The person that can achieve anything if I put my mind to it. I could do like all kind of painting. I can be the top of the class in a painting class. I can be the best of like every single field other than climbing on a snowy hill. But that one defeat just changed me. It made me feel weak, made me feel so much fear of challenging myself later on. And that day, in 2020, when I dived off this cliff, it changed my life. I started to grow braver and braver. It's not that I feel less and less fear, per se. So for example, like I sometimes like approach like random people, strangers, on campus, on the street, in the city. I just talk to them like for fun. But this doesn't mean that talking to strangers doesn't evoke fear in me. I'm just a normal person, just like you. It evokes fear in me, yes. But what I learned is, I feel the fear, I feel my bodily emotions, and I went for it. I accept it as part of myself, part of my emotions, and I say, it's okay to be afraid. I say to myself that it's okay to be afraid. And I still did it. That's what matters. You feel the fear, but you still do it. It's like, so psychologically, let me give a psychological scientific case. So for a lot of public speakers, what they do is, if before public speaking events, before they're stepping onto the stage, they feel stage fright. They feel this strong body emotion, this is anxiousness, this is the jumpiness inside their veins. Now they can interpret it in different ways. They can either interpret it as I'm afraid of public speaking, or they can interpret it as I'm excited about this public speaking event. So this is just a really fine line between being nervous and being excited. So they choose to interpret as themselves being excited. That's why they're masters. That's why when they step on the stage, they actually perform better, right? They actually become a better version of themselves when demonstrating to the public. So right now I'm talking to you through a camera, but imagine if I'm doing a public speaking, can I perform better? Can I speak better? Can I stumble less than when I'm talking to a camera? It's possible. You just need to interpret it in a different way. Public speaking takes practice. Being confident in anything you do takes practice. Being good at playing badminton takes practice. Being good at talking to strangers takes practice. Being good at self-promoting takes practice. Being good at doing any class takes practice. Everything you need starts with courage. I know you feel fear to do your MCAT, for example, the medical school exam, or scientific exams. These are very hard exams. You feel fear of doing them, but accept that fear. Tell yourself the fear is okay. When you're trying to learn a foreign language, tell yourself it's okay to be afraid that these grammar are so alien to me that I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. But tell yourself that it's okay to be afraid. Not only are you afraid, every single other person on the planet Earth right now are afraid. Here's why. Because we're biologically in tuned to be afraid. It was adaptive as a primal human to be afraid of literally everything. Because back in the days, it's adaptive. So for example, if you're living in a tribal environment, you're living a hunter-gatherer lifestyle in the nature, there are so much things that can literally kill you right away. That's how crazy it is. Most prehistorical humans died from mosquito bites. Died from diseases, viruses from mosquito bites. That's how fucking insane it is. I think the data is around like 90% of them actually die from mosquito bites. That's the most common death possibility of death back in the days. That's why they are afraid. They should be afraid. Literally, it's adapted to be afraid of literally anything. So you don't want to eat the wrong mushroom. Also, these mushrooms look similar. You don't want to eat the wrong mushroom that has a different specific pattern or color on it, because it might poison you and you might die. You don't want to go to a place when the bushes are making strange noises, because there might be a huge animal living inside, and they might come out and hit you. Even small animals can kill you. Even the smallest thing in the jungle can kill you. For example, like a small, like poisonous snake. One bite, you're gone. Like, there's no medical cure for any of this. And that's why ancient humans are very careful. And throughout the generation, if you know biological evolutionary theory, the fittest survive. So the people that can survive to reproduce are the ancestor of us, people that are living today. So back in the days, the society is very turbulent, and there's a lot of ways that one can potentially die from literally anything. That's why people are afraid, and our ancestors are really afraid. That's why the gene passed on to us, we are afraid. However, I want to stress this. Modern society has changed the name of the game. Modern societies are so safe that almost all our fears can no longer be valid. You live in a concrete jungle. There's no snakes at each corner of the street trying to bite you. There's no dangerous mosquito bites because most of the viruses has been conquered by human. We found a way to defeat all of them. Literally, there's nothing that our science didn't find a way to at least moderate. So we have all these shots within ourselves, right? All these scientific benefits that comes with a modern lifestyle. We have good food, pretty balanced diet by getting access to cheap food. Our ancestor never had this. Our ancestor has the right to feel fear and be afraid. But we don't, because our society right now is the safest place throughout history. I know there's wars, I know there's places on the planet that is turbulent, but trust me, they're better today than it is before. They're safer today than it is before. So, in our modern society, we don't need to be that afraid. Maybe we should be afraid of something, but majority of our fears are unfounded. That's why, although it's an emotion that comes through your body, you have to accept it. You have to embrace the fear. You have to accept it's part of yourself before you take courage to overcome it. Feel the fear, but do it anyways. Do whatever you want to do in your life. You can achieve anything you want in your life. It's so easy. We are living in a time where everything is possible. Everything is on the internet. If you want to learn something, you just look it up on YouTube, look it up on Google. Like, it's so easy. You don't need a university degree. You don't need a professor to coach you. If you have one, it's better, but you don't need them. You just need to look it up. Literally, like, so crazy. Yeah, if you want to do anything, practice makes perfect. Start from doing something smaller, and then gradually moving on to something bigger. So, for example, if you want to learn how to be sociable, try to talk to 1 people per day. It's actually quite simple. It's just the first step is always the hardest. You need to get out of your comfort zone, always, to approach the first step. And afterwards, everything goes into a flow. Accumulates, it snowballs. It will be easy for you in the end. It will become even natural to you to feel the fear and do it anyways. Thanks so much. See you next time.